On October 11, 1884, in New York City, Anna Eleanor Roosevelt was born. Eleanor was always a shy child growing up. She had a family of lineage, wealth, and uncommon sadness. Her father, Elliott Roosevelt, who was suffering the death of his mother and fighting illness, looked to alcohol for the answer. Her mother, Anna Hall Roosevelt, found it difficult to put up with her husband and take care of her two children. In 1892, Anna Hall Roosevelt passed away. Eleanor looked up to her father more than usual. They always had a strong relationship, and it had seemed to grow often. Unfortunately, this happiness did not last. 19 months later, Elliott Roosevelt died of depression and alcohol. At 10 years old, Eleanor was an orphan, and her grandmother, Mary Hall, started taking care of her. Eleanor's life with her grandmother was lonely and boring until Mrs. Hall sent Eleanor to Allenswood Academy in 1899. The 3 years in Allenswood had been the best years of Eleanor's childhood. She formed close friendships with classmates and studied to her heart's desire. Gradually, Eleanor gained confidence. Her headmistress was such an important influence in her life, for her headmistress took Eleanor out of her shell. Her formal education ended at age 18, when she had returned back to New York City. Eleanor had then become involved with social reform work, serving as a volunteer teacher. That summer, Eleanor was riding a train to Tivoli when she coincidentally found her cousin Franklin Delano Roosevelt. After finding an interest in each other, they started meeting for about a year. Eventually, the two Roosevelts became engaged on November 22, 1903, and married on March 17, 1905. To make this wedding bigger, President Theodore Roosevelt gave the bride away. Within a year, Anna Eleanor Roosevelt was born, followed by James Roosevelt, 1906, Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1906, though he died soon after he was born, Elliott Roosevelt, 1910, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Jr., 1914, and John Aspinwall Roosevelt, 1916. Eleanor, with all these children, was obviously occupied. Eleanor's life as a mother and wife was going normally until the incident in 1921. Franklin was stricken with poliomyelitis, or polio. She took care of Franklin, watched out for him. She became active in Women's Division of the State Democratic Committee. When FDR became governor of New York in 1929, Eleanor started to combine the responsibilities of a political hostess and her own burgeoning career. When her husband became president in 1933, Eleanor became First Lady. She wanted to show the world that the First Lady was very important in politics. She spoke for human rights, children's causes, and women's issues. She even had her own column in the newspaper called My Day. However, on April 12, 1945, Franklin Delano Roosevelt took his last breath. Eleanor had stated that she didn't have any plans for continuing public service. Yet, she became chair of the UN's Human Rights Commission. When she was not doing political work, Eleanor wrote plenty of books about her life, including This Is My Story, 1937, and On My Own, 1958. Anna Eleanor Roosevelt died on November 7, 1962. Aplastic anemia, tuberculosis, and heart failure caused this death. She was 78 years old. Although she is criticized by some and praised by others, today she is known as a leader of women's and civil rights. She was also known as one of the first public officials to publicize important issues. Eleanor was one of the most outspoken women to ever live in the White House. On November 7, 2000, Hillary Clinton was elected to U.S. Senate. She was the first U.S. First Lady to win public office while she was still First Lady. It was the first time in nation's history that a First Lady got elected to a public office. This relates to Eleanor because they were both strong women. They both believed that women could do anything. They were both also First Ladies who entered into a politician life. This project has taught me that anyone can do anything. Eleanor had always focused on what she believed and never let anyone choose for her. She was always determined, and this has taught me to do the same.